Welcome back to Everyday Kentucky. Well, the Carnegie Center's Kentucky Writers Hall of Fame was created to recognize Kentucky's writers whose work reflects the character and culture of our Commonwealth, and also to educate Kentuckians about our state's rich literacy heritage.
And joining us this morning to tell us more is Marketing and Communications Director Erica Cook and Literacy Arts Liaison Tom Eblen. We appreciate both of you being here.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us about the Hall of Fame for a lot of us who don't know.
Well, this is the 11th year of it, and we'll have a big ceremony at March 23rd, next Thursday, at the Kentucky Theater. We'll be inducting 5 great writers. 3 of them are living writers. The first one is Marsha Norman, who is a Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright, Tony Award-winning writer, wrote the book for the musical The Secret Garden, which was a big hit on Broadway. And she will be with us. Susan Laurie Parks, who was the first African-American woman to win a Pulitzer Prize for drama in 2002 for her play Top Dog, Underdog. She is still very active and will not be with us because she just had 2 plays open in New York last year. And she's got one now, and she's got one starting in 2 weeks that she not only wrote, but she is acting in. So she's not going to make it.
She's all over the place.
She's a little busy.
Yeah.
She's a little busy.
A lot of Kentucky talent, you might say.
Right, yes. But Marsha was born in Louisville and lived there for a long time. Susan Laurie Parks was an Army girl. She grew up in Fort Knox. And but Kentucky has been very central to her work. I talked to her before December and before Christmas, and she was talking about that. But anyway, so we do have a video message from her though, so that will be nice. And then our third living inductee is Richard Taylor, who's a writer who lives outside of Frankfort. He's a former state poet laureate and novelist. And then we're recognizing 2 deceased poets who were well known at the time, but have been kind of forgotten. Madison Kawine from Louisville and Blanche Taylor Dickinson, who was a Harlem Renaissance poet who was originally from Franklin, Kentucky, down near the Tennessee line. So it'll be a really fun evening. We're going to have a few surprises. We have a video message from U.S. poet Ada Limon, who lives in Lexington. And so she was reading in California that night, so she couldn't make it, but she sent us a nice, it's kind of a surprise video message. We also have our first, Lexington's first youth poet laureate. The Carnegie Center started this year.
Katana Dedeji is going to have a reading.
Yeah.
And our state state poet laureate, Crystal Wilkinson, is going to be there and be one of our featured readers.
Right. As well as Damaris Hill, who's a very well-known poet, and David Domine, who's a novelist in Louisville. So it'll be a real fun evening.
Oh.
I mean, there's some real talent that you're going over here. I mean, it really is. What does it take, and who decides for these inductees to be selected?
We have a process. We work in partnership with the Kentucky Arts Council. So a committee at the Carnegie Center kind of looks at good living and deceased writers, and the living ones tend to be people in their 60s, 70s, 80s toward the end of their career. We kind of come up with a list. We send that to the Kentucky Arts Council. They have a committee that also includes a lot of top writers, and they kind of rank them, and then based on those rankings, we choose a class each year that's kind of diverse in terms of literary genre, part of the state they're from, you know, men, women, everything. So we usually do about 4 to 6 a year. So with this induction, there'll be 55 writers in the Hall of Fame since 2013.
Oh, wow. So what prompted this event? Because I think it's very important to discuss how, you know, a lot of children need literacy. Of course, it's very important for reading, writing. They kind of go hand in hand sometimes, and so they struggle with that. So how important right now in today's age is it to have someone for these children to look up to?
Well, we think it's very important because one of the things that we've been surprised with is, you know, we knew of a few great Kentucky writers, but one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that Kentucky has always had such a great literary tradition, from people like William Wells Brown, who was the first published African-American novelist back in the 1800s, to people like Susan Laurie Parks and Nikki Finney and others who, you know, are kind of really famous writers of today. People like Crystal Wilkinson, who, you know, grew up in a rural Kentucky community as a, you know, just an ambitious black girl, and has become a wonderful, wonderful nationally known writer.
Yeah, and they're trailblazers for the writers in Kentucky, but I would say also at the national level.
Yeah.
And these folks are now being incorporated into our youth programming. They're leading workshops for our teens at the Carnegie Center for Youth Poet Laureate, for our Young Writers Project. So they are giving back to people who look like them so that they can feel represented in those genres.
All right, so tell us where the event is and the specifics on it.
So the Kentucky Writers Hall of Fame induction ceremony will be at the Kentucky Theater next Thursday, March 23rd at 7 p.m. Doors open at 6, and it is free and open to the public. We really hope that everyone will be able to come out. There's plenty of seats. You all can spread out, get some popcorn, grab a drink, and just really marvel at the amazing Kentucky literary heritage that we are really proud to put on display at this event.
Oh, sweet. Well, thank you so much for allowing us to get an understanding of what the event will be all about, and hopefully we can get down and make it down there and see the Hall of Fame itself.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.